Evening, everybody. Uncle Fester here. All right. Thought just come on. We done a podcast a couple of nights ago with an RAF serving, an individual serving senior non-commissioned officer who, and he openly stated, we talked about his plight with CMS and talked about his mental health as well, which was absolutely brilliant. We had to blacken him out because he's still serving. All right. And we've got him on tonight just to have a quick catch up, see where we are now. So this is just going to be a quick overview. I'm going to bring Bully in, and we bring Steve in and have a catch up and have a chat. Bully, how are you?
Bloody marvellous, Mill China.
I haven't had a shave, mate. I haven't had a shave, and
very good.
I've just chilled out, mate. I've been getting on with the coffee and everything like that. So, I don't know if you're aware, we've lost a few more veterans this week. I think we're up to 25 now. All right. So that's where we are. All right. So let's bring Steve on, is it? Good catch up the other day, weren't it, with him? So let's bring him on. All right, Steve, how are you, buddy?
Evening, fellas. How you doing?
How's it going, bud?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks.
Good. So how's your last couple of days been since the last time we spoke to you?
A bit of a strange one. My daughter was retracting, but she's actually starting to come back to me a little bit. So very strange. It was no sooner did we finish the call, the next morning I got a message from her that she wants to maybe see me this weekend. So
how
do you feel about that, bud?
Keeping it in the auspice of the CMS. I'm over the moon. I'm going to see my daughter, but any time she spends with me isn't deducted from the CMS. Yeah.
So you're pumped, but you still got that deflation. It's deflation, it is, isn't it? So Craig, Steve is a senior NCO, mate, serving. So we brought him on and to talk about the CMS and the effect it had on him. And he openly stated, where he was and how the effect it had on him. So it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. So where do you want to go with this, Bully? Steve, do you want to open up your mic?
I guess I'd like to just to reiterate the point of the fact that he's a serving member of the RAF in a very important role, and his performance has been affected, which will have an effect on an impact on national security due to the work he does.
Definitely. And Steve, you actually commented about, and you made a right good comment actually, because we've got other people who are serving, and they are in quite good. They're in positions of our special services, and they actually, you said you went outside to get help because you felt they would have looked at you and actually looked down upon you because of your state of mental health, if you had to fill all the forms in through the RAF Benevolent Fund. So how did that affect you altogether, Steve? Did it affect you in any other aspect?
I was disappointed. That's the main thing. I know when I did struggle and I did reach out for mental health support initially, I did go to the Department for Mental Health, but they aided me in some ways which were really good. They weren't knee-jerk and just chucking medication at me. I think part of that was my role as well, that the minute I popped a pill, I couldn't fly for 6 months. So that was something I didn't want my ex to have over me, was her affecting me with my children personally, and then affecting me professionally. So I chose not that route and just went down the talking route. getting through it all and being discharged by the mental health people and being happy and being in a good place, I then thought time to reach out for just some counselling, because I did have dips at times, and I'm by no means fixed. I'm still well and truly broken from it all. And I just thought counselling would be a very lower level. But when I did reach out, it was classed the same as the initial mental health that I'd reached out for, which could have led to me being grounded. So I chose to not pursue that route, just so I can carry on doing, in some way, my primary role.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Is I watched over this video after we done it, Craig, and I watched it again yesterday, I think it was, and I actually cried. I got really emotional because, and I tell you what got me emotional was I could hear it in both their voices, but I could hear it really more when Steve started talking at the beginning, when he opened up and he talked about, you know, the children he loves, and how it affected him in the 10 days before Christmas. So you know, that really hit me, and that really hit me hard. And you know, and yeah, none of us are ever 100% fixed. All right, it's something that I'm trying to get everybody to open up about mental health, and I'm trying to get people to understand what the CMS are doing. Is Steve is we talked about the CMS leave you with roughly about £200 for a month, yeah?
Yeah, that's about it, yeah.
Have they ever give you a breakdown of, or has anybody ever give you a breakdown of the fictitious arrears and how they've come to the judgment and how they can leave you with £200?
No, not in the paperwork that they've sent me out. When I did speak with one of them on the phone, it usually takes about an hour of being on hold before you eventually get to speak to someone.
Yeah.
And I just persevere. I refuse to put the phone down when many people I think would, but I will sit and wait the hour to get the call. And she said what my ex had stated, bearing in mind I had a genuine 50-50 week on, week off agreement with her, and it was sanctioned by the courts, which she subsequently breached. I provided that to them. They said her initial stab was that I never seen my daughter and that my son stayed with me for 12 nights a year. And that's what they made their initial set of figures on.
Yeah.
I contested it. I sent it off for review. It's been sent off for review twice. And then in that period, she was given an interim court order, which gives me minimal time with my children. No holidays, no nothing. I just get alternate weekend and 4 hours after school on a Wednesday. Everything she's tried regards social services. 3 times now they've been involved, and each time no safeguarding concerns have been raised. But at no point are they bringing in the fact that she's breached, and at no point are they saying that, I think they even came out with, they're going back to last June where they're making their figures up from. Well, the interim order wasn't signed until I think it was September of last year, but they're still going to go back to June when they're just using word of mouth. They're not using the court documentation.
That's it. Totally biased. And the thing is, they're supposed to actually leave you 60% of your salary once they've taken the detachment of earnings from you.
They don't actually take into account any outgoings. Like I said to them that I had to buy a private house because the military house I was in, and as well, you guys both know, you pay considerably less for a military house than you do for a civilian. So the ex taking away my child benefit, therefore losing my entitlement to the military house, meant I had to move out. and the elevated costs with that, they don't take any of that into account. Yeah, it is heartbreaking when they ask you for the outgoings, and your outgoings are pretty much pension, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm not of pensionable age yet, so
Yeah. And the big thing against me, Craig, you just said it, and we've already demonstrated that the CMS is set up for somebody who's on the dole at the end of the day, somebody who's on job seekers allowance, because they take £7 off them. However, what it happens when you've got a job is you've still got to pay for the family, you've still got to pay for the house, you've still got to pay for all that, and then you've got to pay for yourself as well to survive. Have you seen the House of Commons library today, Craig?
I haven't.
Well, yesterday they done I'm going to share it with you because this is quite interesting, and this is what the response they've come out with since COVID. I'll show you in now. So, I've got to bring it up first, haven't I? You know what I mean, boy. So here it is. All right. So, and what they've said here is the paper describes what steps a child maintenance service may take for a non-resident parent, also known as paying parent, fails to pay child maintenance on time or in full. It also provides information on application, collection, enforcement, fees and charges. So what I'm going to do, Craig, I'm going to run down quickly. Coronavirus is in there, look. So what they've said, Child Maintenance Service has said that it's moving towards a full service and stated that they will take action if child maintenance is not paid. They have advised the parents with care, keep a record of any payments you receive and any missed payments. If any payments are missed and not made in full, we may begin collection activity to recover unpaid child maintenance. In September 2020, the WP said, don't forget now, they weren't fully staffed. It was working with its partners, such as bailiffs and courts, to reinstate arrangements to support enforcement activities. All right. The DWP has said that since September, the CMS has stepped up the efforts to pursue deductions, which we know because we've seen all these fictitious arrears coming in. All right. And recovery enforcement outstanding arrears. So what they've said here is if any payments are missed, we will review your case and may begin collection activity to recover any unpaid maintenance. But here's a quick question for you. You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. So it sounds like the person, the caring parent can turn around and say, oh, he hasn't paid me. And then they start
They take what's happening. And do you know what else they're doing? They're sending text to people, text to parents for care, saying, are you happy with your direct pay arrangements? Encourage them to get on to collect and pay.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. Stephen?
Yep.
What's the percentage they take off you again?
I want to say it's about 35% of my take home.
This is amazing. This is quick. So I'm going to go into something in a minute. However, I'm going to share the screen because for a lot of people out there, we keep telling people, it's a business and that's what they do. Look at this. Income from collection fees and the collect and pay bully. From 2014 to 2015, it was only 1.97 million. Today, 2019, 2020, they're actually total. Look how much money they've made. They've made 39 million in collect and pay. So they take 20% of the fee from the paying parent, and the receiving parent, they actually take 4%. They actually take 4% off them as well.
What I would stay with that one as well, guys, is the paperwork I received said, if you request direct pay and the person requesting it requests collect and pay, we will go to collect and pay. So it's even if you want to pay directly, you can't if the person requesting it wants collect. they will side with the collect, so they will then take an additional 20%.
Yeah.
They won't look at you. I mean, I said I would, and I've tried to speak to the ex to set up direct pay again, so long as she doesn't breach the order. But she just wants to dig her heels in and not go any further with.
Well, that's it. You see that this can be used as a weapon out of malice, can't it, to cause further damage? And if they're encouraging parents with care to go on to collect and pay. Remember Margaret Ferrier, that MP, Clive, we showed a few weeks ago? Yeah. She was saying a couple of her constituents were complaining that they were happy with the direct pay, and the CMS staff were trying to get them to go into collect and pay. We also know about Tom McCormack forcing, telling his staff to force people onto collect and pay. We've seen that. We've got the oral the minutes of the oral hearings.
But
the thing that kind of pains me as well, when I've said to them that if they could look historically, that when I did pay, even though I was in a 50-50 agreement, I did agree to pay £200 a month just to keep my kids in the life that they were in whilst they're with their mum as well. And they've said they will not look at historical payments. I've also said from the day that my children were born, I've paid them £50 each into their bank accounts, their trust funds. So when 18 years old, they get between 18 and £20,000. None of that is taken into account because my ex didn't work for probably 12 years of our 13-year marriage. So it was a single wage. I put her through university so she can get qualified. I paid into my kids' trust accounts. None of that is taken into account. It's just they're looking at very much the facts and figures of today and the lies of a single person, and damage me and my children.
And I tell you what's disgusting. I've just thought about this, Craig. Right, collect and pay. It's a government body, all right. Actually, let's think about it this way. If it was me and if I was in power, I would actually turn around and say, hang on, why are we doing collect and pay and taking 20% off? I'm not being funny, but they're serving our country, Queen and country. They're protecting us. They're allowing us to have our freedoms and go to bed at night. Why am I going to take 20% off my own employees? The pay departments all set up. They're all interlinked, these financial places in the government. What's going on? But then when you look at it, Steve, how much money are you paying CMS?
On the 18th of June, they're going to take £891.
How much?
Yeah, £891.
£891. So for every £100 they take off you, that's 20 quid.
Yeah.
Craig.
Yeah.
So 160 quid of what they take off. How much does your ex-wife get? Do you know?
No. The figures they pushed initially was she was stating she was going to get £560 a month, which is what she was wanting.
So here's a question. Firstly, I can't understand why a lot of exes go on this collect and pay because 160 quid they're taking off you a month for just being the middleman, just being the administration. But then they're taking, and I tell you what they are taking, they're taking £32 off her. So £192 they're making off you too. Woo-hoo! That's nice, isn't it? That's unbelievable, Craig. That's absolutely wrong.
That's why they're forcing people to collect and pay, because they want the money. You can see that's a profit there.
£192. That's better off going to the child.
Exactly. Exactly. How is that in the best interest of the children? Forcing people into financial hardship and causing mental health issues within the armed forces, which is a threat to national security. I keep saying that because it is. It is.
It is. It is. We've got to serve it. Senior NCO, you but serving. But I'm going to read something else quickly because I know we're short on time. All right, and we've come to do this quickly today. This is Craig. This is the one that really gets me by
Send me the link for this as well, Clive, please.
I will. Don't you worry about that, big boy. All right. Right. Initial. This is Steve. Listen to this one. This is. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions off this, Steve. Initial CMS response to the build-up of arrears. If arrears have been accumulated under the collect and pay system, the paying parent is usually sent an arrears notice, and a worker may negotiate and put in place a payment plan. Anybody done that with you? Anybody sent you an arrears notice by any chance, Steve?
I got a single letter that stated there was £7,000 of arrears, but nobody contacted me. No, it just went straight to the pay office in Glasgow via my chain of command on unit, which did embarrass me rather, because they had to authorise my deduction from my wage through Glasgow. So
arrears notice, Craig, an arrears notice, I would believe the notice is a broken down evidence showing substantial evidence that you owe it. Remember the word substantial evidence, Craig.
Substantiate.
Yeah, give me the substantial evidence that I owe this.
Yeah, they don't do that. They just say you owe it and that's it. And the thing is, this could be solved very easily. The MOD should be saying to the CMS, right, hang on a second, you're causing mental health problems to the boys. You've got to prove these arrears before we will set up a detachment of earnings order. That could stop this straight away. Simple as that. So easy to do. So why is armed forces allowing the detachment of earnings order to go through without being checked for authenticity?
But here we go, Craig. The CMS said that it aims to recover the arrears within 2 years and expects the paying parent to pay up to 40% of their net income to clear them. All right? The CMS may also seek or accept a proposal of part payment in satisfaction of liability to the whole arrears. The written consent of the person with care, a child, must be obtained before this is accepted. The CMS does not monitor payments made under direct pay. However, DWP states that where parents do not pay their liability in full on time, the pension and care should inform the CMS, who will take swift action to move the case to collect and pay and enforce payments. So, they're messing about, Craig. It's a money spinner.
It is
for the Treasury.
It is. That's exactly what it is. It's not for the child. I'm going to send you I've sent you something private in the private chat there, Clive. It's from the National Audit Office. The report from March 2017. Here we go. Section 9. Have a read of this, mate. I'll just send it to you.
I tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to have a read of that in a minute because
Clive, I've actually copied and pasted the part 9 for you.
All right, part 9 is right. Let me take that off quickly. I'm going to read this quick because Steve, we're counting down now. Craig, we're counting down, and I want to speak to Steve. The department does not tell non-resident parents that it will consider loaning repayments if they cause financial hardship. The department aims to ensure that parents pay off their arrears within 2 years. However, recovery of the arrears can cause financial hardship. Yes, it demonstrates we have a senior non-commissioned officer still serving in the RAF and is creating hardship for him. The department told us that it has a number of safeguards in place to review affordability of maintenance payments in case And caseworkers can also use debt negotiation tools to agree lower repayments where appropriate. Has that happened?
It doesn't, does it? Not at all. And the thing is, this two-year thing, that's a debt steer. That is their policy. That is not law. They cannot legally enforce policy.
No. And to be honest with you, Steve, how much did they say you owe, Steve, again? 8,000?
7,000 in arrears, and then 891 a month. But that's
Craig,
not to account. She claimed that I've paid her nothing. I think it's the military part of me. I refused to pay the £500 a month with her being in breach of an order and withholding my children.
Yeah, definitely.
But I proved that some monies have transferred from my account to her account. Everything I send her for the kids, it's labelled, the reference is child maintenance. Whether that be for my son's new school uniform, whether that be for V-Bucks because he plays Fortnite, it's always labelled child maintenance. So I've proven to the CMS that money is transferred from my account to her account, yet she always states that she has received nothing. And like you say, regards the arrears, I don't know if any money that I've sent her is factored into that arrears, because it just seems to be, this is how much you owe and this is how much we're taking. And then there's no breakdown as to why.
But here's a question, Steve. So if I put your arrears 7,000, your payment, what's your payment on the 6th of June again? 800?
91.
And £91. All right. I put that down there. Take off the 160, which 20%. All right. So straight away, 891. Take away the 160. That's 731. How much does your ex get? Do you know? Did you say?
I've not got a clue. But I
You
think
you don't know. But let's just say, Craig, for 2 children, how much about would they take off?
Say that again, mate.
How much would they take off and give to the parent with the child? In this case, how much?
I don't know, mate. I really don't know.
Shall we say 500? Let's say 500. So I'll give 500 to the parent with the 2 children. 160. So that's 660. So 660 now. All right. 660. Take away from 891 equals £231. So £231 is going towards your arrears. £231 times 24 is only 5,544. They're not going to get them arrears within 2 years, and they're creating hardship. So this is what I'm getting, Craig. Them arrears will just keep accumulating.
Yeah, they're fictitious to begin with. 99.9% of the time, the arrears are fictitious, because what they're trying to do is to collect. It's a paper chase. They're just simply pushing arrears around and putting arrears onto everyone's accounts to try and make up that £3.8 billion that were allegedly owed as arrears, which have been proven to be 75% of it's fictitious.
Yes.
Due to big interim assessments based upon.
But Craig, we've got a minute left. We've got a minute left for Steve. Steve.
Yep.
I hope you see your child this weekend, mate. I really do. All right. I'll be pumped for that. Let me know about that. Craig, what can we do for Steve? What can we do, mate? How can we help him?
Well, I can certainly give him a hand with his case. I did tell him the other day that I will help.
Okay, let's do that. And look, I'm going to reach out to anybody who watches this who, works in law, works in an area where we can get help, because he hasn't had an arrears notice, he hasn't had a breakdown, and financial hardship. Come on, man.
And this is a member of the armed forces
Yeah.
Serving his country, and these idiots are causing him severe distress. And you were saying the other night there, Steve, that there is quite a few more guys who are in a similar position as you.
Yeah. There's a few guys who I didn't even know until I reached out on Facebook were struggling themselves. There's a few out there who are aghast at how the situation has got to this, when they knew both me and my ex, and they couldn't believe that it's got to this. But I think it's the green-eyed monster, isn't it? It's, as soon as money is dangled, then people seem to make like knee-jerk decisions. And
Steve,
the thing is with this, the amount of money that they're taking from you, you never used to spend that sort of money on the kids when you were in the marriage anyway.
That's the honest. That's what I've tried to say to the ex. I tried to reach out to her when I said, look, you never worked for the 12 years of the 13 we were married, so the family never wanted for anything. I had a house, we had holidays, we had everything, we had cars, the lot, and I never seen you short. So why are you going to see me on £200 a month when we couldn't do that on a single wage when we had the kids together?
Steve, is she working now?
Oh, this is going to be a clanger. So I feel that I am being mentally abused, and I did put her through university to become a mental health nurse.
Oh man!
I remember saying that like that, yeah.
So it seems like every angle she's learnt on that way is being used against me. So everything, all the little twists and turns where you can go underhand and claim safeguarding for this, that, and everything, it's happened.
False allegations, all sorts of stuff, yeah.
False allegations that have been proven by the police, been proven in the courts, but there's no comeback for the false allegations, and even more false allegations to the CMS with the actual amount of time my children are spending with me. And again, it's just falsity after falsity that I have to pay to say my side, because it always gets read in my absence. And then I have to pay to go to court to have my side read. And then when it does get read, it gets thrown out of court, but I still have to pay.
Oh, Craig.
See, the family court system's a big scam. It's a massive multi-billion-pound industry. It's an absolute scandal. And remember Rosie? Remember we showed that video? And she was saying that it's a multi-billion-pound industry.
And it is. And Craig, we're gonna have to let Stephen go now, because Steve's on a tight deadline. Steve, anything? Right, Steve, anytime you need to have a chat, mate, I'm going to text you my number. Craig will get it, all right? Because, look, being there, mate, I'm in a good place today, all right? I understand a lot about mental health now. And I meditate, I do all sorts now. So, but definitely reach out, all right? I'd like to have a catch up with you in the future. Anybody else, all right? If we can help them, definitely. Yeah. But, anything you want to say before you go, Steve? I know you're tight against it. Me and Bully will be on for another about 10 minutes, because we're going to have a quick chat. We're going to see if we can pull something together. All right. Anything you want to say, Steve?
It's thanks, lads. I mean, they always say when you join the military, it's a brotherhood and all that kind of stuff. And it just proves that what they tell you at the careers office is correct, that it is a brotherhood. And some days you may take the uniform off, but you still look out for each other, and you still want to be there for each other. So it means a hell of a lot, fellas.
No, mate, anytime, mate, 24/7. All right.
And like we say, Steve, get your mates who are struggling, tell them to come forward, and get them to speak out as well. They're welcome to come on here and tell us about it. The more people we can get on here to expose these maggots, the better. And the public need to see, and MPs need to see the impact that these idiots are having on the mental health of our armed forces.
I think we got to set up something, Craig, where we can help the guys suffering.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got to come together, think about something we can set up, where it's a one-stop shop where we go to camps. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Because they say it's no problem. It's a massive problem.
It's huge. It's huge.
You know, 3 things. Would you say this, Steve? 3 things. Stresses, big stresses in life: money, relationships, and change.
I'd say, yeah, the biggest one is money at the moment.
Yeah.
Just when you think you've got everything sorted and you're getting everything squared away, as soon as you see that huge bill looming, it's like, shit. I was just getting things squared away. Yeah.
But do me a favor, Steve. Remember one thing. You're not alone. There's a lot of people in that area. And yeah, it always comes out in the wash sooner or later. So let's all pull together and work together. All right?
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love you, buddy. I know you've got to go. All right? You're if you need us.
All right.
Cheers.
And also, mate, make sure you email me your stuff, and I'll get your hand with getting a complaint off to them.
Yeah, check your box, mate. I emailed you the other day just in case
Oh, did
it's
you?
gone to junk or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll have a look in a minute when we come off here.
Nice one, fella.
All right.
I'll speak to you
Have a good
soon.
one, Steve.
Yeah.
Have a good one, pal.
Thanks, lads.
All the best.
Toodle pip.
All the
Love
best,
you,
mate.
buddy.
Ciao, mate. Well, Uncle Fester, but as you can see here, mate, this is open. This system with the collect and pay is open to abuse.
Big time. And it's being abused, mate, by CMS, and it's being abused by the claiming parent. So Craig, what I want is I want people to start sharing this. I want people to start, enough is enough. We need to be persistent. We need to get consistent. Mental Health Week this week. Mental Health Awareness Week. And here we have a system being used financially for gain for the government, but also affecting the mental health of men and women. Do you know many men commit suicide in construction industry?
3 a day?
2 a day.
2 a day.
Do you know many men commit suicide to CMS?
Go on, 3 a day.
3 a day. So potentially, or actually, how many people commit suicide because of CMS is 3 a day. So if you look at construction is man orientated. I wonder how many of them people who commit suicide are struggling with CMS.
Probably a lot.
Probably a hell of a lot. So, as a health and safety professional who teaches about mental health, 1 in 4 people working in construction are considered taking their own life. How many of them are veterans? How many of them individuals? Don't forget, men don't talk about emotions, Craig. And Steve, mate, Steve, what a remarkable guy, but you can hear in his voice. The children are everything, isn't they?
He's broken, mate. They've broken him.
Yeah, they have. So send him my number when you send him the email, all right? Because I want to touch base with him. I think we got to look at something we can set up, and we need help. We need somebody out there who's watching this to help us, because this is bigger than just a couple of us, Craig.
Yeah.
This is massive. We've got the solutions. We know how to do it. However, we need somebody to sit up and, we need people to share this first and get the message out there. Johnny Mercer. Yeah, I've slagged Johnny Mercer off, mate. You've slagged him off. And I tell you what, that was a shock the other day. But
yeah.
I wish he'd come out and said it, 2 years ago. I'm struggling. Because we had a lot of, don't forget, it was a lot of flannel chucked at us as well, mate. He called us out quite a few times and told everybody that, oh, here they are again. You know,
Yeah, he spat his dummy out, didn't he?
slagged us off quite a lot. All right, so I think we've had it's been tit for tat really when you look at it. But I put an apology and I wrote him an email, you know, because
I did too.
you know the bigger man will say, "Yeah, I'm sorry," you know, especially when Johnny Mercer asked for a meeting with Boris, and Boris didn't give him a meeting for 2 years. That's disgusting, man.
Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it? It's
You know,
there's us giving Johnny a really hard time,
and it's Boris.
slating him, and it wasn't his fault.
No,
It was Boris, the
but
Prime Minister.
Office of Veterans Affairs, they haven't got an office. There's only 2 people working in there.
I thought it was
What is
very
that?
revealing that oral hearing he did with the veterans, the MOD.
The select committee.
Yeah, select committee. Yeah,
Defence committee. Yeah, and he was he was on the 11th. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you are military orientated, veterans are serving, go and have a look at that select committee where Johnny Mercer talks for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And we were talking about it a couple of nights ago, and it's so revealing. This government doesn't really care about anybody in uniform, all right? Especially if you've left your uniform and you're a veteran. You know, they don't care. That's fact. Fact.
Yep.
So you know, let's talk about that truth.
I think we should do a podcast about that as well itself. That oral hearing.
I think we'll do a podcast and we'll dissect it and we'll talk about it. I'd love to have a podcast with Johnny Mercer to have a little bit of banter with him, because I could have a bit of banter with him. I think I could open him up to a bit of banter, because he would probably call us he'd probably call me and you a knobber. You know what I mean? Knobbers. And I'd actually
well, you got to think of him. You know, bearing in mind we were so frustrated because we weren't getting any responses, and that's the problem. No response to emails where you've got serious concerns about the welfare of our armed forces, and he doesn't respond. So no doubt that we're getting really pissy with him. You know, if he had to let us know, like saying, "Sorry, I really can't do nothing because it's from above," which is blocking me from doing anything, then there we go. You know.
But the other thing is, Craig, he wouldn't have told us, because what would we done straight away? We would have actually turned it on and gone, "You are right." So you can see he was caught between an hard rock and a stone.
He was caught between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, definitely. Poor guy.
You know, and that's where we are. But I firmly believe what Graham House talks about, justice for troops, is bang on. Independent board of authority board, all right, for a defence authority, or needs something that can hold them to account. And I believe it's got to be connected straight to the Queen, because the Defence Committee is supposed to be doing that, but the Defence Committee and the Defence Board, they don't do that. But I wrote on Twitter, why are the royal family standing by? Why Sir Ken Alisi, who is the London, and I've met him, cracking guy, but why are they all sitting back? Especially when we bring in serving people on, and we're telling them of the problems. Why are they all sitting back, Craig? What's the bigger picture?
Why is the Queen allowing the government to treat her troops where they do? Why?
Yeah, but not only that, Craig. Why are the people in royal family who are the colonels of regiments? Princess Anne is the gold stick for
the blues
ones. Why is she not speaking up? Why are the generals not speaking up? Why is William not as a head of a regiment, or Prince Charles? Why aren't they?
I've written to them, and not getting a response. You know, I've written to them about the CSA abusing armed forces, and just getting a response.
No, because I'll tell you why. Craig. People don't like talking about the problems. Suicide is a major problem. Suicide is a major problem within not just the armed forces, but within society. Everybody thinks the mental health system is absolutely brilliant. But when you work with people who are supposed to be looked after in the mental health system, and you see where it's failing, and you see it day in, day out, these people, unless it affects them directly, they don't care.
Well, that's it.
They want to avoid the issues.
The thing is that they don't even. I was talking to Ian about this, and he had no idea until what happened to Gavin, and then when he started, trying to get answers and whatever, he just could not believe the corruption. He could not believe it. Couldn't believe that what was going on in this country, the corruption from the government. He's like, this country is shocking.
It is.
Couldn't get over it.
Craig, good to have a catch up with you, but we need to get Justine on next, the veteran, the RAF.
Yeah.
That broke my heart as well, mate. Seeing a young girl.
Shocking, man.
She could be my daughter.
Yeah, she's trashed for the rest of her days, isn't she?
Oh, that's heartbreaking, mate.
It is.
That's heartbreaking. And she wanted to become a nurse to help and care for people as well. And all of a sudden.
I know it is. When I was in, I trashed me back, fractured 2 vertebrae, and I was frightened to go sick because of the stigma. Oh, you fablon sick shit. There's me walking around with two cracked vertebrae,
And he was, mate.
Brag. And now my back is in such a bad way because a lot of time I didn't go to get it seen to because I was frightened to.
Yeah.
So it's shocking, really.
So great to catch up with you, but I'm going to say good night to everybody. If you're in a dark area, DM me. You got me on Facebook. I'm on 3 Elements Coffee. I'm on my own page, Clive Spencer. It's not Uncle Fester, by the way. It's Clive Spencer. That's my AKA name, that is. So that's a nickname everybody started giving me. Bully Beef and Chips. Reach out to us. And look, I'll get back to you straight away. Leave a message, anything. Sometimes I do miss messages. I'm not perfect. All right. None of us are perfect, Craig, are we?
Nope.
So, but don't beat yourself up, all right? And yeah, if you are thinking about it, please reach out. All right. When you start talking and sharing. Look, I was where you are. I was in a bad place, and people wouldn't believe where I was. So, and look at me today. I'm living life. Gratitude. Life's not perfect. Life's not going the way I want it to go, but at least I wake up in the morning and I get to do these videos and speak to Craig and other people. I'm gratitude. I love it. Thank you very much for bringing me on, Craig, and thank everybody else for listening because I love you all. All right? We need a catch-up, son.
We do, my man. We do.
I love you, bud. All right?
Love you too, man.
Love you, everybody. Take care.
Good night, chaps.
Good night, chaps and
Chapesses.
Chapesses. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen.